Episode 9 is a film that's often described as having a lot of twists and turns as well as surprises in this movie by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people are really looking forward to seeing in this movie is exactly what J.J. Abrams is going to do with many of the sequel trilogy characters like Luke, Leia, Lando, Kylo Ren, and of course Rey and Supreme Leader Snoke. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with Snoke's real name in Episode 9. Specifically, a description of Supreme Leader Snoke without his scars and injuries, described to be sitting at a table with other politicians. It's described that Leia is to the left in a purple outfit with her hair in buns. The next goes over a sequence, to which is described as Xander Snoke's proposal. It is described that Snoke here is wearing an outfit with red stripes and has blonde hair. The next goes over Snoke discussing matters with other politicians, to which the sequence is described as Xander Snoke rejects an offer. So you guys may recall a couple of weeks ago, one of the names for Supreme Leader Snoke was Evandor Snoke, E-V-A-N-D-O-R, if I remember correctly. And that actually ended up being an alias that he once used in between the events of the originals and the sequels, and that name was based off of an actual ancient Jedi. Now, what's really intriguing about this name is that not only does it sound somewhat familiar to Evandor Snoke, Xander Snoke, or Xander, however you exactly pronounce that, it's spelled X-A-N-D-E-R. So, what's really intriguing about this name, and I want to go over this, is because last summer, I would have to say summer of 2018, is when we heard that one of the actors will be portraying a character codenamed and or named Xander in Episode 9. So, this most definitely lines directly up with what we heard last summer of 2018. I would say around July or August is when we first heard it. And it's very intriguing for sure, because we do know that JJ is going to explore tidbits of Snoke's backstory here and there in order to really fill in the gaps, as well as Luke, Leia, and Han Solo's. So with that being said, this movie is also being used as a way to really respect the legacy characters and to really introduce the legacy characters to a young audience. In case you guys did not know, Episode 9 is going to be a film that will get the young audience in order to get familiar with Luke, Leia, Lando, Han, and all of the fan favorite characters. This way they go back to the originals and watch it and get familiar where Star Wars actually started. And I think that's a great step in the right direction here by Disney, Lucasfilm, JJ, and crew. However, about Snoke's real name being Xander Snoke, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't know if it really flows like Sheev Palpatine. In case you guys did not know, Emperor Palpatine's real name is Sheev. So Xander isn't too off the table here. I mean, Xander Snoke, it kind of flows, but it is indeed a real world name. But at the same time, if you look at a lot of other Star Wars characters, you know, Han is a real name, Luke is a real name, and you see many different examples of actual names that people use in our everyday lives in an actual Star Wars movie. So the other thing that I do want to go over, though, that I really do find very intriguing is the politics and all that different, part of the Star Wars universe that was indeed explored in the Bloodline novel. Now, the Bloodline novel by Claudia Gray takes place 5 years before the events of The Force Awakens. This most likely is that exact sequence and or the same exact timeline. And the reason as to why I bring this up is because we do know that JJ is going to be using a lot of book material, a lot of material from the novels as well that's considered canon, that takes place in between the originals and the sequels, in order to really make, a lot of the continuity connected and flow quite perfectly. So with that being said, we also know that JJ is not only taking elements from the canon material in the form of books and novels, but he's also going into the EU and Legends material for some of the legacy characters as well as some of the sequel trilogy characters. So with that being said, Snoke actually having a real name in Episode 9 being Xander Snoke, this definitely does date back to the summer of 2018 of an unnamed actor, I believe it was, portraying this character for a couple of cameo scenes or a couple of short sequences that were considered to be brief in Episode 9. So it definitely does line directly up with that. Now, what do I think about the character of Snoke? I think it's very strange. I do find it very strange as to why the Age of Resistance comic line, the Snoke issue, alright, a whole entire issue dedicated to Snoke, is dropping this November of 2019, just 1 month before the release of Episode 9, weeks before fans get to go ahead and see this movie. I don't think that's a coincidence. I just don't think it's a coincidence. I think that there is most definitely more to the story there. I think that it was purposely done as to why it was dropped a month before, so we'll have to wait and see. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again. No.